G'day guys, today we're going to be ranking every stadium used in the AFL in 2025. So let's just get into it straight from the start. I'm going to start with the ones that I've been to personally so I can give a better assessment on those, and then from there I'm going to just then fill in the other ones, just sort of about vibes and what I think. But anyway, we'll start alphabetically. Adelaide Oval, I'm going to put in S tier. And that may be a bold move, but I love the Adelaide Oval. The hill's great. It's got a bit of the mix of feeling between a new and old stadium because, you know, obviously the whole ground was redone a bit over 10 years ago, so it's all nice and modern, but also it's got that nice old traditional feeling with the hill, the old scoreboard, and it's just a good mix of things with the park surrounding it there in North Adelaide. And yeah, great spot, Adelaide Oval, straight up the top, S tier to start us off. So I haven't been to Barossa Park, so I'll skip that for now. NG Stadium, that is going straight into the E tier. That is just, I mean, the worst thing is like the catering's terrible. You can't get a pie. I mean, I couldn't find a pie last time I was there, I'm pretty sure. And it's just all funky and stuff. And Sydney Showgrounds, of course. So it's like it's an interesting one. I mean, also for starters, Hawthorn have never won there as well, is another thing. But yeah, even just as a stadium, weird shape, weird ground. I mean, it's good for the Giants. I'm sure they love it, but yeah, not good from a compared to most of the others. So we'll put it not in F, but in E tier. Now we'll move on to the Gabba. I've never been to the Gabba for an AFL game. I've only ever been there for cricket. But we'll put the Gabba in C. I know quite a few people like the Gabba. I think there's sort of mixed opinions on it, but I think it's sort of nicely in the middle. I mean, there's nothing too overwhelmingly good about it. It sort of just does the job, really. Of course, they're going to have a new stadium in Brisbane for the Olympics in 2032. But the Gabba, look, it just does the trick. Capacity of 40,000, just under maybe. And yeah, it's fine. I know they get around it there, the Brisbane fans, with all their music and stuff, so I'm sure it's a good spot for them, but, you know, it's really just a stadium. There's not too much noteworthy about the Gabba. It doesn't have any particularly unique features. I personally not a fan of the alternating coloured seats. That's something that bumps anything down, in my opinion, because it makes it unclear whether there are people in the seats or not. But anyway, we'll just nicely in C tier, the Gabba. GMHBA Stadium. This is a tricky one, but I'm going to put it in C. It's either C or B. It's a good spot for Geelong. I'm sure their fans would love it. It's their home ground. You've got to love a good, unique home ground for a specific side. They're all great in that sense. So if you're a Geelong fan, you get around it. Nice and modern, because they've redone it all, but with all the different stands, it's still got sort of a traditional feel to it. Obviously, they finished the new stand at the beginning of 2024 because they didn't have it done in 2023 when they were meant to. But anyway, but yeah, I've only ever been there once for an AFL game because Hawthorn have only ever played there once with a crowd in my lifetime. But yeah, we got smashed. But apart from that, I thought the whole experience was fine. Obviously, bit intimidating as well. It's sort of what you want. So yeah, hostile. Suppose we'll put it in C. That's a nice middling spot. Haven't been to Hands Oval, so we're going to skip that one as well for now. Manuka Oval. I'm going to put it in... should I put it in C as well? I'm going to put it in C. All right, I promise there's some more coming, but, nice ground. Been there for cricket and also been there for GWS versus Hawthorn last year, which ended in heartbreaking loss for us. But thought the ground was decent. Actually, I'm going to bump it down to D purely because they don't sell footy records at Manuka Oval. And I don't know if this is something they've never done or even if they've changed it by now, but I could not get a footy record at Manuka Oval. So that's why it goes straight down to D. You can't be in a C if you're in that position. But obviously it's, relatively small ground in terms of capacity, but yeah, a few different spots, nice stand on the wing, and yeah, it's fine. So does the job, and that's the thing. Mars Stadium in Ballarat, I'm going to put in... it's so tricky. I'm gonna put it in B. Actually, if I'm putting that in B, I'm putting Monica Oval back up to C. But anyway, we'll leave that. Monica Oval's back up to C. Sorry about that, guys. And Mars Stadium's a B. I suppose it's a good thing in the sense that Mars Stadium, I went there before they'd even done it up, and I've been there since. And obviously they're still building more stuff. But it's creating this nice mix and a nice modern facilities mixed in with still the old vibes of the ground. Of course, North Ballarat's ground was in the VFL for years. Yeah, so it's a good spot. If I was a Bulldogs fan, I think I'd really like it. An hour and a half west of Melbourne, and it's good spot in Ballarat. Good venue. So yeah, we'll put it in B. Marvel Stadium, I'm going to put in D, because in terms of the stadium itself, I suppose ranking it in terms of what it's like for a big stadium like that, it's not great really. It feels like you're watching footy in a factory sort of thing. But look, with that being said, it's not terrible. It does the job, and I know a lot of people who say that they refuse to go to Marvel. They hate going to Marvel, full stop. They only ever go to games at the MCG. But come on, guys. Seriously, grow up. It's just a stadium. It's fine. It does the job. If I was a Bulldogs or a North fan, I think I'd particularly like it because it's not too far from their traditional home grounds. But yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's fine. So it's not terrible. But with that being said, compared to the other stadiums that it's similar to, it's probably not the best vibe, to be honest. So that's why we'll put it there. The MCG... is this controversial? Because I'm going to put it in A. The MCG is an A. I love the MCG. I love it. It's got a great historic feel to it. Obviously, the stands itself are newer. Maybe if it had older stands still there, I might put it in S. And obviously, most people probably would put it in S, but I'm just going to put it in A. I like it. It's a good home ground for Hawthorn. It's the home of footy, for crying out loud. It's the home of footy, so it's got to be decently high. Good stadium, easy to move around in, good facilities, good food stores everywhere. So yeah, that's why it's A. But I'm going to put... I've still got it behind the Adelaide Oval. Obviously, it's bigger than the Adelaide Oval, but the Adelaide Oval has a very particular feel to it. So the Adelaide Oval, although despite being smaller, I'd say it's the MCG, but with a slightly more improved historical vibe to it. And, with the hills still there and that sort of thing. Obviously, with the MCG, you still have the old MCC still there, even if it's the newer grandstand. But yeah, I'm gonna put it in A, just behind the Adelaide Oval. So maybe controversial, but I'm interested to see what you think of that. Ninja Stadium, Hobart, that is a D, Bellerive Oval. It's sort of funny. I felt like it was sort of, I don't know, I've been there once for a Hawthorn game in 2022, and I thought it was all right, but yeah, I don't know. The vibe just wasn't that good, really. And I mean, it was sort of a weird setup with the stands. See, I feel like one side of the ground is too built up and the other's not built up at all, and the hill on that side's not that great. And of course, you would want more built up on the home side of the ground, but it just sort of feels weird. There's not enough cohesion. It doesn't feel well. And also, one big thing, you can't go to one end of the ground. There's no cheer squad at one end. So that bumps it down straight away. So look, it's just sort of, D. not the best of its kind, Ninja Stadium. So yeah, now we move on to Norwood. Norwood is an A. I love Norwood. Been there once for Gather Round in 2023 when we lost to GWS by 2 points. But in terms of ground itself, it's great. The great old grandstand there just feels like it's just such a classic suburban ground, like the ones you'd have back in the day for in the VFL, AFL, and of course they still have in the Sandful and the Waffle and any suburban football league in the country. But yeah, it's just great. You know, the concrete on the sides is just nice, and like, you know, everyone loves a grassy hill, but I just sort of like that. But yeah, it just feels like a classic football ground, a real classic football venue. And it just felt great watching Hawthorn there. A stadium of, 10,000, basically all Hawthorn supporters watching it. And one ground it's a lot like is Glenferrie Oval, Hawthorn's traditional home ground, Hawthorn's spiritual home. It's got the same square boundaries, which makes it nice and unique. And yeah, it's just a great venue all round. Love Norwood, so straight up into the A's here. It's almost S, but I guess we'll just stick with the Adelaide Oval in S, because I guess that's, we'll just say that's the gold standard for a venue and one that, people play in the AFL as their main home ground. But Norwood Oval could not really be better. A tier straight away. Love the place. Now, I have not been to Optus Stadium, but by the time this video comes out, I will have been to Optus Stadium, because I am soon to go to Perth to watch Hawthorn play Fremantle this weekend. So we're going to skip Optus Stadium for now because I have not been there. Now we move on to People First Stadium, Carrara, in Gold Coast. That is a D or an E. I'm going to say E. Oh, maybe D. We'll give it a D. It's in one sense, it's a slightly better version of NG Stadium, the Sydney Showgrounds. Just because it's the same, it's a very similar structure, except I guess it feels a bit more intimate. I guess it's more up close rather than feels like it's a football venue rather than NG Stadium, Sydney Showgrounds feeling like it wasn't made for football, but they just plonked a footy field on there, which is true in a literal sense. But yeah, just probably a bit more intimate. The one time I went there was when we played Gold Coast in 2023, and we got absolutely smashed. So in terms of game day experience, it wasn't great. But yeah, the venue, it does the job for Gold Coast. It's nothing special, and they know it's nothing special, but it just is what it is. It's fine. On to the next one. SCG. I'm going to say B. B for the SCG. Arguably bump it up to an A, because in terms of the layout, the mix between old and new is absolutely perfect. I might actually bump it up to A for that reason, and they've still got their old stands there. Yeah, like I love a good mix of old and new, because that is just what football's all about. It's just this great mix of different things. The venue, you can feel what the culture of the ground feels like. And that's the one thing about the MCG as well. It's one of the ones that's completely new that still sort of has that feel to it. And obviously I wasn't alive to see it in its older form than what it is now. But in terms of just vibes, you can feel the importance of the place when you're in there. So that's one thing about that. But the SCG, great in that sense. The mix between old and new. One thing that bumps it down, though, is lack of ability to walk around the ground. Like, I've been trying to get to the in opening round this year, and I've also been there for cricket as well, and went to see us play Sydney in 2023 as well. But walking around, it's so wacky. You can't stay in the same spot. You have to walk, and then, bang, you have to walk down these stairs. You have to go through a tunnel. So I suppose that's a likely result of having the stands the way they are, the mix of different things. But come on, guys, surely you can do a bit better than that. But yeah, A tier, good spot, SCG, good old venue, and A tier. So Traeger Park, I have been to, but not since I was very young and not for an AFL game. So I might skip that one as well, just for now. UTAS Stadium in Launceston, I'm going to put that in C as well. That's where we play. Obviously, Hawthorn play 4 home games a year. I've been there quite a lot. It's a nice spot, does the job. It's a good fortress for us. Nice big stand on the southwestern side of the ground, southwestern corner to western wing of the ground, sort of thing. It's nice. I sort of don't like how on the eastern side and wrapping around there, the seating is so far from the fence. But I'm pretty sure they're going to redo that anyway, because they're starting a redevelopment of it soon to make it a bit bigger and a bit nicer for when Tasmania potentially play a few games there a season in the future. All in all, it's a good ground, nice, pleasant, and that's about that. All right, so now we move on to these 5 at the bottom. Barossa Park, we'll put in D. I mean, it's fine and it did the job for that. I mean, obviously I haven't been there, but, all the temporary stands, these things are not, they're good for capacity, but in terms of actual feel of the ground, they're probably not amazing. It would make it feel very festival-y, which I suppose that's what Gather Round's all about, which I'm sure some people would like, but it's not really my sort of thing. So for that reason, we'll have it at D. All right, Hands Oval. I reckon it's a B. I don't know too well, but I reckon it's just about a B. Oh, actually, we'll say B. Nice suburban ground in suburban Bunbury. I don't know it too well, obviously. Watched the one game there, North Melbourne and West Coast, and looked all right to me. Obviously, to make a more formal assessment, I would have had to go there, but yeah, it seems like a pleasant venue. Bit of history, not bad. Optus Stadium. B. It's a nice shape for a football stadium. It's a nice modern football stadium. I know a lot of people really like it. But as far as I'm concerned, it wouldn't necessarily be the best, but it's really just does the job with ease. Great modern. People, probably very good facilities and all that sort of thing. I think in terms of vibe as a football stadium, it's decent. I don't think it's like a, white elephant or anything. I think as far as I know, it seems all right. And of course, I've watched a lot more football there on the television than some other venues. So yeah, I'll see how I find it on Saturday night. We'll see how we go. All right, now we're down to the 2 TIOs, the 2 Northern Territories. TIO Stadium in Darwin and TIO Traeger Park in Alice Springs. TIO Stadium in Darwin gets a D. They got stands on one side, not much everywhere else. Good spot for Darwin. Good to have a nice stadium to watch some footy, but really just does the job. Gold Coast play 2 home games a year. Really just there so that people can watch a bit of footy. It's the main football venue in Darwin for whatever football they get up to up there in their football season, which I'm pretty sure is in the other half of the year. But yeah, TIO Stadium, Marara gets a fine. It's not a fine as in money, but as in gets a tick. D tier, but it doesn't need to be higher. It's fine. Traeger Park, went there once when I was 6, just because I was on holiday up in that direction, and C, I guess. I think it's quite nice. I think Traeger Park's a nice venue, so we'll put it in C. Not too much more to say really, but I think that's the final thing. NG Stadium has been a bit stitched up. It's the lowest one in E tier. No F tiers, because let's just think about this. if a venue plays Australian football at it, how could it really be an F tier? Because football's the greatest game in the world. Yeah, maybe a bit controversial having the Adelaide Oval at the top. I wouldn't have even before doing this necessarily said the Adelaide Oval was my absolute favourite, but I'm happy to have it there because I think it's a good spot. And yeah, just good Adelaide Oval. You're doing well. MCG, you're doing pretty well. Home of footy, great spot. Norwood Oval, SCG, great venues. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments on the placements for all of them. Let me know if you disagree on some. If you've got any extra opinions on some of the ones that I haven't been to in particular, let me know your thoughts and just your thoughts overall. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you think of these tier list videos if you want to see more in the future. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you all next time. Goodbye.
All in the game, it's all in the game. All in the game, it's all in the name of football. Football.